Welcome to the Conclave. Hey guys, and welcome back to the Conclave.Podcast. I did not just see that.
You flipped me off first.
I was doing the 1, 2, 3 countdown to let us know when we were starting.
Just so you know, he did 3, 2, 1.
I literally do that every time. You never notice it. They never see it because it gets put into the intro scrolling of
We
everything.
got a lot of
I
outtakes
do
for the
that
short.
every single time. It blows my mind you don't realize to do that. Like literally.
Honestly, I never saw the finger countdown. I
Yeah,
just waited for you
I
to
know.
get done with your intro, and then I.
Yeah. No, I do it all the time. It's the signal to myself of where to cut off the pre-recorded stuff that doesn't need to be there to then slide in when we need to start the intro so that it starts with the hey everybody. Uh,
Take 4.
don't tell all of our secrets, please. Okay, tell secrets. Okay. So before we get into the meat and potatoes of today's episode, which is Baggy in a Bowl, Jess Talks Herbs. Sorry, not that kind of herb.
Yeah,
We
sorry,
will
guys.
eventually have an episode on that though, because we do have a friend who is
A
uh,
cannabis
a
witch.
cannabis witch who works within the uh, medical marijuana
Industry.
industry here in Pennsylvania, and unbelievably knowledgeable about tarpons and
All, all,
all
all
the
the
good
science
the
stuff with it.
ties the science into the magic, and it's absolutely fantastic.
Yeah,
Um,
she's phenomenal.
oh yeah. And personally, I can't wait till it's just completely legalized, so that way we can really advertise it, really push it, and
Right?
see where we can go with that. But before we jump into everything else, I have a few things I wanna throw out there. First is I've been getting a lot of people coming into the shop, commenting on the podcast. Hey, we've been listening, this, that, and the other thing. Or, one the other day was like, I didn't even know you guys are here. I found your podcast. Now I'm in. Which, guys, thank you so much.
Thank
I
you.
love that it's actually getting out there. I really appreciate that you guys are listening. Um, and we don't plug the shop very often, but I'm going to do a little bit of a plug right now. And that is because we are currently up every year. Pittsburgh City Paper does a Reader's Choice Best of Pittsburgh,
Yeah.
and we are wonderfully up for 4 potential awards.
Yep.
Technically, the shop's up for 3
And the
because
podcast is up
you
for
can only
1.
be up for 3. So, but the podcast is actually up for best podcast
In
in
Pittsburgh.
Pittsburgh. I'm not quite sure how we got there. Our viewership isn't really that big. I think that really goes to the loyalty of our viewers and of our customers in general. So for that, a huge thank you. Um, but then also the shop is up for best psychic tarot reader, for best gift shop. Isn't my favorite category, but there is not a metaphysical shop one, so everybody kind of slides into that. And then we're also up for best holistic
Yeah.
healing medicine shop. That one, we've last year we were second place for psychic tarot reader. 2023 we were first place. So that award is just that's got a special place in my heart because that's something that we put a lot of time and effort behind. But the holistic medicine shop, that one is also like that's where we really sacrifice of ourselves and we put our knowledge into place. It's not just selling items. It's the Reiki, it's the healing, it's the impromptu unofficial therapy sessions. It's blessings and cleansings of houses to get people in the right places. So it's something that we put a lot of ourselves into, and to be up for the top 5 and the top in the city is just unbelievable for me. Now we were in both the gift shop or no, sorry, just the holistic. We were rated number 2 in 2023. We unfortunately fell out of the top 5 in 24. Um, but we're back in there and we're really hoping it comes to fruition this year. If you would like to help us get there, go to all you have to do is just Google Pittsburgh City
Yeah,
Paper.
Pittsburgh City
Okay.
Paper.
In their drop down box, there is a best of PGH, and then there are the
Psychic Tarot Reader is
headcount.
under business and services. Podcast is under people and places, and gift shop and holistic medicine is under shopping.
Exactly. Now, on top of that, we're not even voting for ourselves as best podcast. We're splitting our votes, right? So the other one of the other five that's up for it is the Etta Arlene Spirit Cast, and you'll remember Etta
We
and
had
Arlene
Ashley and Erica on.
are part of our Ask a Witch panel for our first ever two-part episode.
Yep.
So if you don't want to give us some love on the podcast level, which I totally get, we are brand new. We probably don't deserve to be there,
But they are
but
also
they definitely do deserve to be there. They're absolutely phenomenal. Lots of knowledge. Their show is really engaging and really educational. If you haven't checked it out by now, you need to, and you also need to go vote for that. All right.
yes.
Voting goes, you can vote once a day, all the way up through August 22nd. And if you have a couple email addresses, you might be able to,
Yeah,
vote a
vote
couple
more than
times.
once.
Just saying,
And,
just throwing it out into the universe and seeing what comes back at us.
and if they require a zip code or something, it's 15202.
There we go. Now, to the meat and potatoes of today. I'm now becoming aware that I just said that twice, and that's not normally something that comes out of my mouth, so I'm not
It's
quite
fine.
sure what's going on
You're
there.
Irish and Eastern European.
It's true. We have an affinity. Anywho, uh, today's going to be one of my favorite episodes because I
For a change, I'm taking the lead.
don't do much. I get to be the one listening. I get to be the one asking questions. I get to be the one just interjecting little things here and there. So without further ado, I'm handing this over to you, babe, because she is the herb specialist here at the shop. She's made it a cornerstone of her practice from day one. She's in the process of putting together a book. I'm going to keep saying that until you actually get it.
Well, and some of the pages we're going to go over today are
Little
part of
snippets
that.
that will be in there. So go right ahead.
All right, so herbal practice. I'm going to start this with a preface of I know. Um, decolonize your practice a little bit. And by saying that, I don't mean don't use what people of color use, yada yada yada. I'm saying know where your people come from. You're not American. You're European American, you have roots somewhere. And there are a lot of things that are going to be very special to your people. And you see that even within North American practices, especially in like within Appalachian folk magic, they do know why Mama, Papa, whatever, were using specific things for specific reasons because that was passed down from their Scottish heritage, their Irish heritage, their um, Polish heritage, whatever became a melting pot. So I'm not saying don't use something. Know why you're using it. Know where it comes from. Know where the tradition comes from.
Interesting, because this is one thing that I don't think we necessarily agree on, and it doesn't happen often. Well, at least as far as practices go. And that was your take of you're not American, you're this. For me, you're American first, and we're not our ancestors, right?
Right.
I look at it as on the cultural side,
Yes.
right? I can't call myself Irish, even though 50% of my bloodline is 100% Irish,
Yeah.
right? Because I've never been there. I don't know what their life experiences are. I don't know what the struggles are, the joys, the the all the things, right? Where we start coming back in together is where you're saying, like use what's available to you, um, but understand where it came from.
Yeah, like
So
I
because
understand we're a diaspora,
yeah,
like our entire country is diasporic. That doesn't mean you get to use everything. It doesn't mean you also negate where you came from.
and that's fair. Like that I agree with. So let me. My brain is trying to process to make sure I'm
It's
I'm
early.
understanding you correctly, right? Um, so it's what I think you're trying to say is we use pond water for X, Y, and Z because our Irish um, ancestors that that moved here from Ireland used the pond water because in Ireland they would have used bog water, and that's where
Exactly.
the connection is. It's not necessarily that we need to be thinking like a person from whatever country it is that they originally came from. It's understanding why we use the tools available in North America instead of what they use and why there's the translation.
Right.
Okay. Now we're more on board.
Yeah. No, it's more about like, oh, so why do I use pond water?
There. Okay.
Why do I use
I've had one cup of coffee and it was very, very weak and like a sip of soda. So my brain not fully braining right now.
yeah, so it's more about understanding where those practices derive from and
Okay.
what their purpose behind them was. Because
Gotcha.
as soon as you know the purpose behind a practice, behind utilizing certain ingredients, it actually makes it a lot easier to substitute what you have available.
I can see that.
Because it's like, okay, we don't have bogs in Pittsburgh.
Yeah. Yeah.
I
Unfortunately.
got a lot of freaking creeks though. I got a lot of dead water. I got a like there are things I can utilize
Okay.
uh because of where I'm living, because I understand why they're picking that practice. And that's very important when it comes to herbal practice. You may not have the exact strain of oregano that your ancestors were growing in Italy, and that's fine. We have oregano. Rosemary grows so globally, like try to get rid of it. Like that shit can be invasive in places. There are strains of chamomile that are wild to Pennsylvania.
Hmm.
I can go out and I've done it. Like we were at the cemetery one time. It's like that's chamomile, and you're like, no, that's not chamomile. It's like it's not the one
I,
we're putting in celestial seasons, but that is a strain of chamomile. Like and I can use it as such because it is something that grows naturally as long as it gives me permission. So when dealing with herbal practices, it's a lot of what is available. Uh, Dollar Tree herbs are as valued and viable as anything else that you would find in a botanica. And at least in the Dollar Tree, they're rated for food, which is I know a point you wanted to bring up.
so real quick interjection. Food grade quality herbs. They are vastly different than non-food grade quality. And the reason and the main thing that differentiates them, when it's not meant for food, you have a different level of pests that could be in and around it.
Dirt,
Dirt, feces. When herbs are non-food grade, they're just, essentially just shipped, right? And if that ship has insects on it, they're gonna get in it. If there are rodents on it, they're gonna get in it. These bugs and these rodents, they're gonna eat at it. They're gonna poop. They're gonna do all these types of things. And to your point, there's gonna be dirt in there because it's not washed the same because it's not being consumed. Food grade quality has a much stricter rule set for shipping
it's
to keep it
regulated.
pure and cleaner and safer. There's going to be less dirt particles allowed. There's going to be less pests allowed. Now, you're never going to get it where it's an absolute zero on that. I hate to break that to you, and that goes for all food everywhere, including fresh produce that you're getting at the grocery store. Okay?
Yeah,
There's going to be an element of lack of pest control because you just can't do
wash your
100% of that.
vegetables,
That's why
people,
you wash it, right?
please.
When we were growing up, it was always like, oh, rinse off the pesticides. Yeah, it's as much you want to rinse off any potential, rodent poop or tarantula eggs or whatever it might be. That's there. Okay, Mother Nature's going to get involved, but with the food grade quality, you're guaranteed that it's going to be within a healthy,
Safe
proper,
consumption.
safe standards, right? If you go to a shop and they flat out are like, if they don't offer up the fact that it's food grade quality, if they don't, if you ask them and they say no, but it's okay to make it. It's okay still to use these as a tea. No, it is not.
No, it is not.
All right. You can pour all the boiling water you want on top of it, right? And that might kill bacteria. It might kill. the micro insects that are in the herbs. Is it going to kill the fact that you're now drinking something with some rat poop in it? Probably not. It's gross. Don't do it. And to any shops that are out there, and we know of one very specific, luckily they are closed now,
Yeah.
that used to flat out tell people, oh, yeah, no, it's perfectly safe to consume. It's not.
Well, also saying they would not sell anything as food grade because then they would have to remember like the purview of where it came from.
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah.
it's so hard to read the label on the bag from your supplier.
If you're one of these people that are selling this stuff and giving that kind of bad advice, knowing, do better.
Yeah.
Do better.
That's not saying that you can't use non-food grade herbs. And in fact, we have like a sticky on a lot of our not a lot, like a handful of our herbs that are like this is not for consumption.
Yeah, no, yeah, and that's a very good point to point out. If you're not using your herbs into a tea, if you're not using them into smokables, stuff like that, if there's zero chance that it's going inside your body, it doesn't matter if it's food grade quality or not.
Yeah, if you're just using it for ritual purposes, if you're making baggies or you're doing like a quick candle spell or whatever, like it's fine.
But know where it comes from before you put it in your body,
Yeah.
and that's just good advice for anything you put in your body.
Um,
Anything.
anything. Know what you're doing. And this also goes into this like just because somebody says this is good for a headache or this is good for an upset stomach or this is good for seasonal depression, know how they interact with what you're already putting in your body pharmaceutically. Point in case, St. John's wort will negate birth control.
That one be
Your
good.
seasonal depression can wait.
Yeah,
Like if you're not wanting to be, full of a baby.
yeah.
So keep in mind that there are a lot of interactions, and somebody who is an herbalist will tell you.
Okay, and that's another thing I'll interject on. Uh, Not just an herb. Anybody can study herbs and call themselves an herbalist,
Yeah.
unless they are a certified degree holding herbalist. They should not be the advice you're taking to use herbs holistically.
Yes.
If you're going to, or if you want to use herbs in a holistic fashion, and they're great to do, they're great to use. Jess makes me a wonderful blood pressure tea that when I remember to make it and drink it, it really helps regulate my high blood pressure uh, because the docs took me off the pill. Um, but if they're not, so a true herbalist, it's like a 7 year degree. It's
Yeah.
almost in depth
It's a
as
medical
becoming a
degree.
doctor, right? So if you're not talking to somebody with those kind of credentials, you need to make sure you're asking your doctor first.
And
Now, a lot of doctors and a lot of modern medicine will just tell you to skip that, and they'll probably try to throw another pharmaceutical down your throat. Talk them around that. Express to them the importance to you of why you want to do it this way, and get the like, okay, cool, doc, I get that's your point, but how is this going to interact with my medication, regardless?
and
So
that's why
be smart, people, please.
right. And that's why on today's podcast we are going over the ritual uses of things and not the medicinal holistic uses of things. We are going to be focusing mostly on the magical uses of herbs. So,
Oh, it's magic.
getting into that, I have a couple of sources. I brought my books out. Uh, First and foremost, as I know, as we talked about decolonizing your practice, and here I am with Scott Cunningham, magical herbalism. Um, yeah, I know. It's
He does honestly does a really great job of
of
keeping his personal practice out of the books that he writes. So I'll put a blue check mark next to his name.
and within the book you have a good amount of things that you can find easily. Uh, he does go through like folk names, gender, which he had this particular issue is replace gender with hot or cold versus male or female. Are you heating it up, slowing it down, dual nature, which is something that Starcassus also does, which I appreciate more because they're plants. Like, if yeah, they have gender, but they're not gender specific. Planets, elements, what part you would use, basic powers, and specific uses and how to utilize them. There are a couple of like things in the beginning of the book as far as like turning them into tools. It's not for me. But this is a decent little quick reference, at least for the specifically herbal part. This is like, oh, I don't know what I'm doing, or this is what I have available. And that's the other thing. Start with your medicine, like start with your cabinet, like your spice cabinet. Everything you have in your house has a magical purpose.
Hmm.
You don't have to go out and buy 100 things from a metaphysical shop or a botanica or anything like that.
Unless you're in the Pittsburgh area, in which case come
In
down
which
here
case,
to the menagerie where we have all the herbs you need.
you can start with that 20 item spice rack you got at Costco or whatever that has all like, and you're like, when am I ever going to use cardamom? Start there. You may not use it for cooking, but you bet you can find a magical use for it. So start there. Start with what you have and grow from there. You don't need to buy all of the things, everything all at once. Uh, what I used to do was go to another local shop, Hocus Pocus, and restock on things that I couldn't buy at the grocery store or the Dollar Tree or whatever, or wasn't growing myself. And then I'd add like two or three things that I've never used before. Like, you know what, we're going to throw that on there. And then I went home and I researched it and I looked it up and I figured out what I could use it for. So these are things you build over years of practice. And not necessarily, you don't have to like start with your Italian seasoning. Great for prosperity. Um, start with your poultry seasoning, start with your cinnamon. Like these are all things that you have in your house right now, probably. If you don't, I'm not eating at your house, I'm sorry.
If you don't, it's time to cancel DoorDash and start picking up.
I'm looking at you, Sean. Um, but yeah, start with what you have and work from there. Just because Pinterest spell says you need this random ass thing, more than likely there's something you can substitute. There are very few things that I will be like 100% like you need this for this specific item or this specific ritual. And I think hands down, I think Road Opener is the only one that's like you absolutely need Abre Camino for that. And then it's like, but that's an American continent practice, and it's an American continent herb ingredient. That's very practice specific and very continent specific. So I'm sure there's road opening, blockbusting things elsewhere, but if you're talking about American conjure, Abre Camino.
That's
Sorry,
it.
that's it.
Yep.
And there are plenty of places, and it's not something you're going to eat anyway, so it doesn't matter if it's food grade. It needs to go out. Moving along. I like this Charm Spells and Formulas by Ray T. Marlborough. Um, it doesn't necessarily have a really great glossary index or easily referenced section, but he does a good job at teaching you how to build a spell or a ritual or an oil from the ingredients. So
Okay.
I like this as a
less about the ingredients, more about technique.
the process. Yeah. So like a stew is a stew is a stew when we're talking cooking. Like it's a braise. You sear, you stew. Um, this is more like, but I can make that butter chicken. I can make that ossobuco.
Yeah.
It's the same process, different ingredients. This is really good about explaining the process, and then you can kind of plug and play what ingredients you need for your particular intention.
Right on.
So I like this for the processes, not necessarily the recipe.
Okay.
Starcassus, Hoodoo Herbal. This has some really great pick reference. She does not mince words. It's like you get a sentence or two per things. Jalapenos are worked with to heat up all types of enemy work, from shut your mouth to run double run. That's all you get for jalapeno. But,
That's all you need.
that's all you need. Like, oh, okay. So once you know what run double run work is, once you know what shut your mouth is, and you see jalapeno, oh, heat it up. Oh, get it done. Get it done fast, get it done hard. So I like her books for that because she's just very like I said what I said.
Unapologetically. I
Unapologetically.
love that.
Doctoring the Devil. Again, Jake Richards is a great resource. This is coming from an Appalachian practitioner, so uh, take with that what you will. Uh, his books aren't always the best
Index.
organized for quick reference, which is why I have all these little tabbies. Um, but in this one specifically, I do love the fact that at the back he has like different psalms you use for different workings, zodiac signs and their corresponding body parts, and then list of herbs, curios, and their uses. So protection from conjuring and unnatural illnesses. Then he just lists them in alphabetical order. And angelica root's in there, and that's going to be the first herb we talk about today. So, he doesn't necessarily always go into how to use it. It's just like, hey, you're doing something like this. Here's some things you can look at.
Fair.
What do you have available from this list of 30 things or 10 things or what have you?
And I know we've talked about him before. Doctor and the Devil is just one of his books. The other,
Backwoods
Backwoods Witchcraft.
Witchcraft.
He is
And we use his
young,
contra
and
cards.
we use his conjure cards for our in the rotation for our social media posts for the menagerie. Um, his whole thing and why he started writing books was the realization that the Appalachian folk magic practice was starting to die off because the younger crowd, in general, didn't really care that you know, grandma was doing X, Y, and Z for ABC reasons. And because of that, things were going away. Family lines were no longer as powerful. He wanted to educate the people to keep the practice alive. And if I remember correctly, I can't remember if it was in one of the books or a social media post or an interview or something along the lines. He has caught some flack from others within the Appalachian folk magic practice because he opened up the family secrets, right? But he always pushes it back with it's more important to keep a tradition alive than to keep it in, just in the family. So a lot of respect for him for that, and will always support just for that reason.
And he doesn't necessarily open up his family secrets. And he always says specifically, like, family lines have their own practices, their own
Yeah,
traditions, their own
yeah,
thing, because, especially in Appalachia, there are so many traditions being pulled together.
yeah, yeah, yeah.
So,
And it is general knowledge he puts out, not the like the specific. Now, some of it is like, hey, my grandma used to do this for this,
yeah,
right?
but
It's
it's his
not,
right
yeah,
as part of that family line to share those secrets or
exactly.
not. He's not sharing the secrets of the family line down the street. He's
Yeah,
sharing his family.
yeah, yeah,
Uh, in general, what he shares is Appalachian folk magic that is open.
yep.
It is an open tradition. And anybody who says otherwise is lying to you. It is an open practice.
Now, it may
Um,
be that family, the specific reasons and things that that one family does is closed to within that family. But when you look at the Appalachian folk magic in general, it is an open practice as long as somebody's open and willing to share with you their knowledge.
right. Things like painting your porch roof blue. Things like having a bottle tree. Those are all open.
Yep.
Like you
Yep.
you can do all those things um without stepping on any toes.
Yep.
Like if you are treading into the realm of a closed family practice,
That's different.
uh, you're gonna know real quick.
Yeah.
First off, you shouldn't know what that family is doing unless they've already told you, in which case, then,
Yeah.
um,
And chances are, if they haven't told you, but you still know what they're doing, it's because you're feeling the effects of what they're doing.
yeah. So, um,
You Todd actually just started reading uh, Backwoods,
backwoods,
and he sat there, he's like, I didn't realize half the stuff my grandmother did
yeah,
is technically Appalachian witchcraft. It's like, yeah, oh yeah, the amount of things that people do on a daily basis, once they would realize that that's what witchcraft is considered, it would change their opinion on this whole life.
right. Like a
So,
lot of it's just random family traditions and
yeah,
superstition that
yeah,
you didn't realize had a basis somewhere.
yeah.
And
So, okay, I'm going to reel us back in. I took us on a tangent. I do,
sorry.
but I like to acknowledge uh, the authors when I can. So,
Oh, absolutely.
go right ahead.
Before I get into the last book, I have a book not pictured here, and again, that's The Green Witch, Aaron Hiscock Murphy, um, or Murphy Hiscock.
How many copies of those of that one have we had to buy over the years?
We have it at the house. I meant to grab it this morning. My brain was not there. I was grabbing food for the kids, and
It's disappeared from the shop at least twice.
yeah, and I
And
just
by
looked at,
disappeared, it's like, hey, you can borrow this for a little bit
and then
to see if
people
you
just,
like it, and then it just never really comes back, so we have to buy it again. Which hey, it's a cheap book,
it's cheap,
and
it's
especially for how much knowledge is in that book, it's great book.
accessible, it's a great starter, so you can at least move from, okay, I know now that cinnamon's for prosperity, or why do people burn it for cleansing? Now you can, like, now you know how to deep dive from there.
Yeah,
Like at least gives you uh a stepping off point from things that are easily accessible. Like they don't try to make everything a little hard to find.
yeah, yep.
It's just like, oh, you've got this. Here's what you can do. Caffeine and sugar. And last but not least, Plant Witchery by Juliet Diaz. Um, this is one of my favorite reference books. It starts out with like essential properties. We've got dill here with love, manifestation, protection, and abundance. You pickle lovers, have at it.
That's a pretty big deal.
Yeah, that's a pretty big dill. And it goes into things like, okay, this is the description of the plant. Here's medicinal properties, but again, not recommending anything, but like, hey, if you happen to eat a lot of dill, um, makes you a little more mentally alert, calms your stomach, lots of vitamins and minerals. I'm like, I know when I'm hungover why I want pickles.
Right?
Um, some mild treatments that may not affect anything. It's like if you have some dillweed, you're gonna be all right. Magical properties of the plant, followed by sometimes she has little recipes on things that you can do for like meditations or visualizations or what have you. Plant wisdom. I love the fact that she puts in, like, if you dream of it, if you're seeing it pop up in your life a lot, like if it's being sent to you as a sign, um, here's what it may be trying to tell you. So, like, if you thistle grows out your front door, what is that telling you? So, I do love this. It's very accessible as far as how it reads. And the way this is organized is very much how I'm kind of trying to organize my own little compendium of herbs. So I really like the way they do this. It's accessible. It's not too much information. It's sourced, and gives you some good deep dives. So Yeah, 10 out of 10, no notes. Except sometimes, like, I look up the most basic things. I'm like, you really don't have that in here? But her focus is very much like North American plant magic. So what she pulls from is very much what is accessible to our area. So I love that.
That's awesome.
Um,
All right, teach us about some herbs.
all right. So
Let's hear it.
I've got a couple pages from what I'm putting together for my own book. I teach an urban crystal class here every month, and we go over three herbs, three crystals. Everybody gets a little sample of the herbs, a little tumble of the crystals. We go over what they're good for, and they get stuff to take home and practice with. And they get a little printout that they can put in a binder that they can organize themselves and what have you. So we're going to start with Angelica root. This is the herbs I pulled out are what I would put in an herb starter kit for somebody just starting out. Like I didn't want to put in things that were easily accessible from a grocery store, the dollar
Like your
store,
cinnamon,
what
your
have you.
rosemary, your thyme,
Yeah, like if you
oregano.
already have it at home, I didn't want to waste people's time or money.
That's fair.
Or if you can get it for $1, by all means. So I was focusing on things that you could only get in specific circumstances. And there's one that it does not fall into that category, but I feel is very important to use. So we're going to start with Angelica root. The sign is in Leo, the planet is the sun, the element is fire. Deities it is known to be associated with are Venus slash Aphrodite and the archangels. Um, just as its name implies, Angelica root is angelic. It's good for protection, hex breaking, uncrossing, healing, protection from disease. So the story is that during the bubonic plague, an angel came down and told a doctor, a healer, that Angelica root would cure or protect from the plague. And he started adding that into his medicines, and it helped relieve symptoms of the plague.
Hmm.
So that's where we get that protection from disease. It is rooted in medieval um, superstition, I guess. But house blessing, purification, psychic abilities, and divination. Like this herb is a powerhouse, but I typically use it mostly in cleansing and protection works.
Okay.
It's in our uncrossing oil and incense, and it's in our protection oil and incense. Um, anything I might want the Archangel Michael to come down and help with, I'm reaching for Angelica root.
That's fair.
Um, it has a high sugar content, so if you're imbibing it, don't be diabetic. And it can cause miscarriage if pregnant. Like this is one of those like imbibe with extreme caution, and extreme knowledge of why you're imbibing. This is one I typically only utilize in a ritual format. I would not be adding this to a tea.
Yeah.
Like psychic abilities and divination, like not. I don't need it that bad. Like it causes photosensitivity when used topically. So even in oils, you need to be cautious if you're utilizing it daily and all the time. Um, add sunscreen. It you're gonna burn. Um, also, it looks very similar to hemlock in the wild. So if you are harvesting it,
Please be extra careful. That's itchy.
no, hemlock broken can kill you on skin contact. Like just no touchy if you don't know what you're
No,
doing.
no
Like
touchy.
it, it
No
it's
touchy.
it's a very volatile herb. So if you're utilizing it, make sure you know that it is what it is. And that you're not playing around with something that could potentially kill you.
That's fair.
Um, but again, I love it in protection and cleansing work. It's a fantastic powerhouse. Just make sure that you absolutely know what you're foraging if you're touching it. Otherwise, you go to a place like us and it's Angelica root because that's what I purchased from a big supplier that if it's not Angelica root, like we all suing and we all going to like fucking Cancun on that money, right? Like vacation time on
Yeah.
my supplier's dime. Next, this is the one herb I that is easily accessible to people who have a grocery store nearby. Chamomile, aka chamomile. Um, chamomile. So yes, you can go to the tea aisle and find chamomile very easily, and it's okay to use chamomile tea. That's fine. It's actually very convenient. Again, this is a very sunny herb. Look at it; it just looks happy. It it's designed for the sun. And as such, Cernunnos, Apollo, Helios, Ra, Luke, pretty much any deity associated with the sun has some chamomile associations. So,
Who is not associated with the sun? He is not a sun god.
yeah, I know. But,
Sorry.
you know,
Sorry, that one bugs me.
yeah, no, but I think it's more that his festival is summer.
Festival's early harvest.
Lunasa?
Yeah, when it's done.
Yeah.
It's not a summer festival, it's a harvest festival.
And to me, August is summer.
That's fair, but not in Ireland.
It's like peak summer
It's
here.
turning there.
Yeah, like they're gonna learn real fast. Um, but I love using chamomile in cleansing my house. And this is such an easy, accessible thing. Make a cup of chamomile tea, pour it into your wash water for your floors. You're cleansing while cleaning,
Hmm.
and it also attracts in money, peace, love, tranquility. Like,
It is a like one of those herbs. It's pretty much one stop shop.
yeah, like literally you can do so much in daily, regular, spiritual hygiene with chamomile. And it's mostly safe to drink if unless you have like an allergy. Like chamomile tea is what people reach for if they struggle sleeping but don't want to take anything. They have an upset tummy, chamomile tea. Like it is a very safe herb to utilize and have around. And it's even like unlike lavender, which has a lot of those same calming properties, it's also fairly safe to be around pets. Whereas lavender can be actually very toxic to cats.
I didn't know that.
Chamomile is actually, according to the American Veterinary Association, um, fairly safe to be around cats.
Okay.
So, if I'm trying peaceful vibes, chamomile, not lavender.
And it's tasty.
Yeah.
I'm a big fan of chamomile tea.
It's named after apples. Its name comes from the Greek word for ground apple.
Interesting.
And that's because they thought it smelled like apples. They obviously didn't have a lot of the varieties we have in the US because I've never noticed that it smelled anything like apple. Um, but uh, just a fun fact. Um, again, I infuse in wash water for thresholds to warn against unwanted energies from entry. Um, powdered petals around yourself to dispel spells cast against you. Around your home to prevent fire and lightning strikes. Fun fact about chamomile also is it actually nutrient like adds nutrients to the soil. So I always like to plant it in like my gardens as a companion plant because it actually pumps nutrients back into the soil.
Interesting.
So it's really like almost like a self-fertilizing plant. Using a ritual bath to increase sex appeal. Brown chicken, brown cow.
I've heard
Um,
that.
Wash hands in chamomile to increase your luck in gambling. So before you go to the casino,
Noted.
just make some chamomile tea, just
Maybe that's what the guy from the last episode was doing.
right. Good for sachets for luck or money. You press in your wallet to attract money. Burn a meditation incense because it does help calm and ground your mind so that you're better able to release. So it is a powerhouse. It's a workhorse and it's very accessible. So like, please get yourself some chamomile. Like people are sleeping on chamomile.
Fair enough.
Next one, cinquefoil, also known as five finger grass, or like Pat likes to.
Finger death punch.
Yeah. Uh, it's associated with Aries, Taurus, and Virgo, Jupiter and Mercury, fire and earth, and a lot of the big daddies. Zeus, Amun, Thor, Fortuna, Perun, the Dagda. I can see the Dagda being like,
Yeah, no,
yeah.
that makes sense.
So like it's got big daddy energy. But the lore around five finger grass is it helps you to attract anything that your five fingers can grasp. That's why it's called five finger grass. It's about manifestation. It's about getting that and bringing it to you. Um, it's great as such, great for attraction working. Anytime I'm trying to bring something to me, five finger grass. Like uh the five fingers are for love, money, health, power, and wisdom. So all things that you can access yourself, but it helps open those doorways. Great for anointing amulets and charm bags. Great for protection. Hang over your door or place in bed, and it can be used to banish negative energies. Or fill an eggshell with cinquefoil and place it in your house. So this is going to be something that you can use as a filter for like negativity trying to come at you.
Okay.
And it's great for lifting blockages. To wash away hexes or curses, you can wash your hands and forehead with cinquefoil infusion 9 times. Um, I use it in birthday blessing candles. So like every time the girls have a birthday, it's like we make a little candle with something that's like associated with their zodiac and some blessings I want for them for the year.
Mhm.
Always adding that in. It strengthens all five of your senses. In medieval times, it was believed to scare off witches, which is very ironic since we really like it. uh, Putting a sachet under your pillow will invite prophetic dreams. So if you're needing to get some messages from the great beyond, popping a little bit under your pillow. It's also a great astringent. So using like witch hazel and cinquefoil in an infusion that you would use to wash your face, really good for your skin. Um, it's also good for diarrhea. So there's that.
Not medical advice.
Not medical advice. Um, just take some Pepto. For fuck's sake. Uh,
And there it is.
hey, I went a long time without breaking that.
Yeah. Yeah.
Um, the next one is Mandrake.
Or mandragora.
Mandragora. It's highly toxic. Do not eat. Do not eat. Do not eat. Please, for the love of God, this is a no licky. No licky.
Or as Adam says, it's food grade quality once.
It's food grade the first time.
Never. Never. Okay. Bad pat joke, but it still makes me chuckle every time.
Like, I do need to point out that the first deity it's associated with is Circe, who killed her children because her husband was sleeping around. Okay? So, like, just,
No go.
good for Scorpios, Geminis, Taurus. The planets include Mercury and Saturn. Element is fire and earth. Deity, Circe, Hecate, Diana slash Artemis, Hathor, Saturn, and Aphrodite. Mandrake is a great booster. I usually either use Mandrake or High John in almost everything I do as an amplifier.
Yep. Same.
Mandrake is great for protection, manifestation, abundance, and fertility.
And honestly, I'll use this before I'll use High John pretty much every day of the week. High John's a pain in the butt to work with. It's so hard, and you have to grate it, or you can just grab a little bit of Mandrake and throw it in there.
Um, Going into fertility, the story of Rachel and Leah in the Bible tells of Mandrake curing Rachel's infertility. That's where it's that's where we get our fertility. They would place it under the bed. Sometimes some of you who, may have seen Pan's Labyrinth or some of these other things. They would place it under the bed or in a bowl of milk under the bed to encourage the growth of a baby in the womb.
I'm clutching my pearls. The Bible teaching witchcraft?
Oh no, it's like I'm not a practitioner of Appalachian folk magic. Not like the Psalms is an entire spell book or anything.
Right.
The whole roots resemble it. Like if you get a full mandrake root, it looks like the human body. It has 5 points.
It will not scream at you.
It will not
It
scream.
won't knock you out.
If it screams, I don't know what the fuck you got. But it has it looks like a star. It looks like a body. So it can be used in those aspects. So it was used as puppet magic or figure magic. Um, it can be used to represent everything or nothing. Uh, For drawing a man, inscribe the whole root with the man's initials, talk to it, sleep with it, spray it with your perfume to draw him in. Look, if you have to work that hard to get a man, be single. It's fine. It's 2025. We don't need men that much.
Yeah, I can agree with that.
Or women. Um, or thems. Let's be gender neutral. It's like you need a partner that bad. You don't.
Yeah.
It's a magic booster in any situation, used in spells to attract love as an aphrodisiac and as a fertility charm. Placing the dried root on the mantle to protect the home, bring prosperity, and ward against demons. Place on top of money to make it multiply. And write down something you want to come true. Bury it near a mandrake plant. For those of us in North America, it's also called the mayapple. That is North American mandrake.
I did not know that.
We have a shit ton of it here in Pittsburgh. I can't sneeze without hitting a mayapple plant in May. Um, but yeah, bury it near a mandrake plant. The mandrake will root that wish and send its energy into the universe. So go online, look up what a mandrake plant looks like, or a mayapple if you're in the US. And I bet you will immediately recognize the plant because literally it's everywhere.
If I had my phone, I'd be Googling it right now.
Yeah. Yeah, you once you look into it, you're gonna be like, oh shit, I know that plant.
Fair enough.
Um, but yeah, you can use it and that's, my friends, that's what we call root work because we're working with the root of the plant. And guess what? Didn't require poisoning the environment, didn't require killing the plant. You just plant it near it. Like, here, buddy, give me a hand with this. I need that job. I need that paper, whatever. So I like Mandrake a lot. It's very easy to use, and it's actually highly accessible once you know what you're looking for. So, and if not, you can always come to us, the menagerie.pgh.com. We sell it by the ounce.
We're a little plug happy today, which is fine.
It's fine. I'm plugging herbs that you can't find at the grocery store.
This is true. This is true.
Next one, mugwort. Uh, Signs are Taurus and Libra, planets, Moon and Venus, elements, Earth and air, deities. Artemis/Diana, Hecate on Morgon. It's great for protection and psychic ability. Mugwort is an herb I like to use in cleansing and blessing sacred spaces and divinatory spaces. Uh,
Yep. Now, there's some people are going to tell you go ahead and smoke it because it gets you high.
it's
As somebody who has burnt it ritually in a cauldron and accidentally smoked out the entire first floor of the house, yeah, it'll get you a little feeling, but it's not enough to actually. It's not what you're thinking.
like
So
if it's
don't.
gonna get you high, it would be controlled by the government. Let's be
Yeah,
honest.
it's gonna hurt your lungs. Don't
Yeah, like
now. If you're imbibing a little bit and you're already packing a bowl or
doing a little
rolling a
sprinkle
joint or
sprinkle.
something, stick a little bit on there.
Burned or smoked, it's great for protection, divination, enhancing astral projection, lucid dreaming, and other states of altered consciousness. It's not saying it's getting you high. It's just saying that it helps you achieve altered states
Yeah, yeah,
easier.
and I think that's where it kind of. I think nowadays now it's a little less regular to be hearing people like, "Oh, can I smoke that and get high?" Well, yes and no.
Yeah, like I get that about mugwort and Egyptian blue lotus
Yeah,
all the time. I'm like,
yeah.
no, it's not it's not weed, guys. Like,
The EVL though, that does have at least mild hallucinogenic properties. So
yeah, but it's like
very mild.
it's not like the amount you would have to imbibe to even
To like trip.
yeah, like it just
No.
no.
For those that are listening, not watching, I'm sitting here shaking my head like the was it EMT 50 or something or other. Just don't do it.
It's giving the kids who would sniff the scratch and sniff markers in middle school, okay? Like,
Oh, you're dating us there, baby. You're dating us.
yeah, it's fine. I'm old. But it's like it's giving like you're trying too hard.
Yeah.
Like it is 2025. If you can't figure out how to alter your state of consciousness, you probably shouldn't be altering your state of consciousness. Um, it's great in the bedroom to encourage prophetic or lucid dreaming. So I will commonly use it as a sachet that I tuck under my pillow or under my mattress when I'm needing to get some more direct messages. In a tea before bed to encourage ritual dreams, and before divination to aid clarity and connection to spirit.
What was the other one you had just mentioned that was good for under the bed with
Angelic root.
prophecy? Was it Joker with prophecy?
No, it was chamomile.
Right. So would
Or
you
no, cinquefoil, sorry. Five finger grass.
okay? Would you recommend when building a sachet like that, use the 5 death punch, use the mugwort, and use
Layer.
the Angelica, like layer it in
Yeah,
alone?
absolutely.
Better than, or it does that, in your personal opinion, does that work better than when you're using just the individual herb? And if we blend it, do we have to blend a lot of it, or can it be just like a little?
A little goes a very long way, guys.
Okay.
Like, you see a lot of these, like, candle spells and stuff that are just overly dressed and, like, just look like hairy little penises sticking out, and then they go into
That's an image right there.
yep, you're welcome. And then they just, like, burst into flame. Like, it doesn't need to be that much. I always tell people in my classes, like, a pinch.
Okay.
A pinch is all you need. Like, we don't need the whole plant to get our intention across.
Yeah.
We need the plant a little bit. So yeah, a pinch, and I absolutely encourage layering.
Okay.
But you don't need 30 things. I try to keep most of like sachets and spells to like under 6 items.
Okay. Okay. That helps.
Because otherwise there are different intentions or different properties of the plants or the crystals or what have
That
you
could leak in.
that could conflict with each other if you start adding too much.
Okay.
So I usually try to use like one or two crystals as a focal point and like 3 to 4 herbs.
Okay. Okay.
Anything more than that, I think you're muddying the waters.
Fair enough.
But that's my personal preference. You do you, but please,
I do tend to muddy the waters. I'm not gonna lie.
You don't need to do, again, you don't need the whole plant. You just need a little sprinkle,
Little
sprinkle.
sprinkle. Okay.
Um, and when you're processing these plants for your intention, for your spell work, don't, like, let's say you go to a store like ours and you're like, I'll take an ounce of mugwort. Don't dedicate the whole bag to a specific intention. You dedicate exactly what you're using
Hmm.
for that ritual. You take that out, you dedicate it, you set your intentions with that while you're processing it to get put on the candle, put in the bag, whatever. Like whatever you're doing for that specific ritual. Don't don't do the whole ounce because now that whole ounce is only for that purpose.
That's fair.
So if you want to set, like, if you don't want to set the intention every time, set aside a portion. Like, this is specifically for my reading area.
Yeah.
Like, this
Yeah.
is specifically what I'm going to burn when I'm doing my tarot card reading. All right, cool. Set aside that portion of your mugwort for that.
Okay.
Cool. It doesn't need a lot though.
That's fair. No, no, that's yeah.
Um, back to mugwort. Using a sachet for travel protection. Uh, always be wary of what TSA may or may not have issue with if you're carrying it on your carry-on. Um, but it can still protect you in travel in your checked bag.
Okay.
As long as like you're not going across uh country lines, it should be okay to have like a little baggie tucked into your suitcase that gets checked in. But TSA is going to TSA, so
And
do with
if you're
that
crossing
information.
countries now, you're looking at agricultural import
Yeah, it's more like, oh,
so
do you have any, like, you have to declare if you have any plants or shit like
yeah,
that, like on your customs form. If you say no, and then they find a random baggie of herbs in your checked bag,
ain't gonna go well.
yeah, TSA grain of salt. Pop it in your car because you're driving across country. Different story.
Yeah. All
um, make an herbal water to cleanse your ritual tools, especially those used in divination. I'm going to say this once and I hope I don't have to say it again. Don't use water on your tarot cards. That's physics. Just burn a little bit, like, and smoke cleanse them with it. That's fine. But if you have like a pendulum, like a quartz pendulum or something that's like water resistant, and you just want to dip it in a little thing of mugwort tea, or you have an athame you want to cleanse, great. Just if it's paper, don't put it in water, please and thank you. Hang over your door to ward from unwelcome energies. A garland worn while dancing around the midsummer fire and then burned can ensure protection throughout the year. And it's really good to work with when developing psychic gifts. So it's again a good powerhouse, especially when working in other realm techniques. So highly recommend. But again, like mundane before magical, please and thank you. Last but not least is witchgrass. This is not one that's very commonly known to people and not one that's like really easy to forage because it's literally grass. So it's hard, I think, for a lot of people to be like, is that witchgrass or is that just grass?
fair.
Its sign is Sagittarius. Its planets are Saturn, Jupiter. Its element is Earth. It is good for banishing, protection, and manifestation. To banish, speak what you wish to banish and then burn witchgrass to turn that negative force into ash. Place over your doors and windows to keep out ill-willed people or spirits. Do not use in binding rituals. Witchgrass will turn that intention back on you. So if you're trying to bind somebody to you, witchgrass is not for it. Like, it's gonna be like, oh, okay, you fucking around with that? All right. We're gonna make that real bad. Um, this is like a situation where, like, say, oh, I'm trying to do a love spell and keep my man with me. it can turn that man obsessive or controlling or abusive. Like it's like, yeah, he's going to stay with you,
It ain't gonna be good though.
and he might also kill you.
Fair
Like,
enough.
just um, it's excellent in hex removal and exorcism, but not in return to senders. Again, you're trying to bind your energy to somebody else. It's like, oh, we're going to do that. It's going to be messy.
Yeah.
So you want to wash something clean? You want to break a bond? Yes. You're trying to return, you're trying to connect your energy to another person. It's going to go bad. So don't. Uh but it can be very useful in negating other people's energy as long as all you want to do is negate that.
That's fair.
And those are the half a dozen herbs I pulled out to go over today in my TED Talk, my
Very
herbal TED
nice.
Talk.
Very educational. A lot of information there. I don't think I realized you kind of go that in depth with the. I've never got a chance to take one of Jess's classes.
He has to come
One
with
of us has
us
a class,
usually.
the other one has the kids. So I didn't realize you go as deep into it was like the planets and the signs and the
Yeah.
elements and stuff like that. That's really cool. That's awesome.
So yeah, and keep in mind when I do this research for these classes, like these are the books I'm pulling from. Like that's where I get this information. I'm not just arbitrarily assigning stuff. Sometimes I will put my own UPG into them.
Mm.
Like, all right, this is what I've used it for. Two
An
good six pack.
unverifiable personal gnosis for those that aren't familiar with the UPG.
But yeah, sometimes I'm like, I use this for this. Why? Because it works for me. It may not work for you, but this is how it works for me. And give it a shot. If it works, great. If it doesn't, then make a note on the page I gave you that Jess is full of shit on this one and don't use it for that. Not everything is for everyone. Um, and that goes for herbs, it goes for crystals. Like, you're a big black tourmaline man. I hate it. Like, it does nothing for me, but
Hmm.
I'm like obsessed with hematite and pyrite. So, like, not everything's gonna vibe with you, and that's okay.
That's fair. And I think the one aspect of your class that you teach that I do really appreciate, especially when it comes to like the herbs, you also teach how to research.
Yes. I'm very big on like teaching people how to find the information for themselves.
Yeah, yeah,
It's very much teach a man to fish, not give a man a fish, is how I approach my
yeah,
classes.
yeah. And especially today, that's so important because there's a lot of bullshit out there that needs weeded through.
So much bullshit.
And the unfortunate thing is even when people are educated properly, there's still a 50-50 chance they go the route of the bullshit.
Or they stumble across the wrong rabbit hole on social media
Yeah,
or what have you, or their Google search is not Googling the way it needs to. And they end up in a weird rabbit hole and they end up with like really poorly like sourced and vetted information.
yeah, yeah. So hopefully that won't be you. Now that you can take some of the knowledge of the herbs I just gave you, especially for you beginners, uh, start putting together your own collection. Like she said, though, if it's in your spice cabinet in the kitchen, just use it from there. Don't go out and buy extras and a whole separate side. At the same time, it's always nice when we have extra packet of bay leaves at the house because we might run out of bay leaves when making soup the one day and go like, crap, I need one. Head over
Basics
to the
are
altar.
great for manifestation. So if you're making soup and you also want something to happen, you can do two things at once. It's called kitchen witchery. Look into it. All right. Um,
Wow, does she sound judgy on that one? Oh my God.
oh my God. No, but seriously, like kitchen witchery is the thing and it's valid and you can set intention in your cup of coffee, your soup, your taco night.
Yep,
Like
yep,
knowing what you're putting into your food can really help you build intention for your family.
yep,
It could be just
yep.
protection and health. Cool. Nobody's telling you you need to like hex your child's bully at school. We're just saying like maybe give your child a little strength. Add ginger. Um,
Yeah.
A little protection, add garlic. All of which taste fantastic. But it's very easy once you start getting a hand on how to utilize herbs regularly. It's very easy to start incorporating them into daily life instead of making the entire practice a separate thing.
Yeah.
And I think that's very important in this day and age. Everybody's tired, busy, uh, and burnt out. Let's be fair. So
Yeah. Yeah.
sometimes doing something that we can incorporate into what we already have to do for survival and just mental health,
It's a good way to get it done.
it's a good way to get it done. And it's a good way to incorporate spiritual hygiene into your everyday life without having to make a whole ritual out of it. Sometimes that's just too much. I think we also have a very unique perspective because we both come from kitchens. So we're both very much into like, how do I make, we approach recipes as guidelines.
Yep.
Uh, we approach ingredients as, well, replaceable if we don't have it.
Yep.
Uh,
We've learned
so
how to build and layer flavors, and that translates to spell work.
it translates to intention. It
Yeah,
translates
we also, I'm going to say better than most. I think most people recognize this, but I think um, chefs in general, and no shade to your local dive bar kitchen crew or fast food kitchen crew. It is a bit different when you're looking at it from um, the fine dining to upper dining establishments. We recognize the importance of food as connecting with memories and special occasions because in fine dining you're cooking mostly for people who are celebrating something major and special, so you gain that understanding that you need to not only make that night special but what they eat that night may become associated now
may become a
with that
core
special
memory.
occasion, right? So, and maybe I'm just wrong, maybe that's just the romantic side of me leaking into that part of my life. um but when you have that kind of connection to cooking and the food that you make, now it's really easy to add the witchcraft side into it
Yes.
because you have that understanding a little bit better, and it's just like, yeah, it connects, right?
Like even at home, like we're no longer building that experience, but every time I cook for my family, I'm putting something into it. Like
Yep,
I'm
yep.
I can be having literally the worst day ever. I can be a cranky piece of shit all day. And I get home and I'm like, you know what I'm gonna do? Put on a podcast, I'm gonna pour a glass of wine, and I'm gonna go cook something.
Yep.
And then while I'm doing that, like I'm adding intention. I'm centering myself. I'm grounding myself. Like, and it's something that I needed to do anyway. Like, and it might just be pasta, like jarred sauce, some ground beef, and
Mhm.
noodles. But like, I'm sitting there and I'm adding a little garlic. I'm adding a little basil. Like I'm putting a little bit of myself into it, even if it's something simple.
And this here kind of explains why people are always like, well, this doesn't taste like how mom made it. Well, that's because mom made it with love. That's essentially what this
Like,
is.
it's
That's the
legit.
putting of like that is the muggle's way of doing this, right? People don't realize that, if you're having a bad day and you're not centering before you're doing something like this, you're gonna put that into the food.
Yeah.
If you have the extra love and feeling for the people and person that you're cooking for, that goes in. This is all part of that same intention. You may not recognize the herbs that you're putting in to that meal right now have these magical properties, but they recognize it. The herbs themselves know it,
Yeah, they're
and they
picking up on
recognize
what
and
you're
they
putting down.
feel the intention that you're putting in there and what you're trying to do. So it's kind of one of those things of it's going to happen regardless. So you know, use it, utilize it. It's
It's
fantastic.
there, you're doing it anyway. Learn how to incorporate that
Yep,
into everyday
yep.
magic.
And that is a great way to become more familiar with using herbs.
Yes.
Use it in your day-to-day kitchen life and cooking life to then translate it over to your spell life.
Yeah. Get yourself a little label maker or something
Hmm.
and go through your spice cabinet and put the main intentions of your spices.
Yeah, Yep.
onto it. So like when you're cooking, you're like, oh yeah, this is for prosperity. This is for cleansing. This is for like, and so until you fully know what you're doing, you got some cheat sheets right in front of you and you can just,
Which is perfect.
yeah, nothing is saying you have to know everything all the time without looking something up. Like nobody says that. And anybody who says that is an ableist piece of shit. Um,
Ah, there's no zero about it.
yeah,
There's no in between.
there is no in between. Like, it's okay if you need to look it up.
Yeah.
It's okay if you need a cheat sheet.
I tell people that all the time, especially when they're beginning with tarot.
Like, we have what, like 100 crystals in this shop. No,
Yep.
I don't remember exactly everything rhodonite does. I got my cheat sheet right here.
All right, guys. On that note, we're going to start closing this up.
Yeah.
Thank you for joining us once again. If you enjoyed this, please smash all of those buttons. Do all of the things that every podcaster ever tells you to, like, share, subscribe, blah 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 blah. I'm going to add in there word of mouth. If you're enjoying this, tell your friends. I'd like to think we've thrown out at least one or two decent ideas throughout the episodes, um, and we do have more coming for you. So please do all of that. We do appreciate it. Like we said in the beginning of it, if you have a moment and you would like to, please go to Pittsburgh City Paper and throw a couple votes out there. And other than that,
If you have any questions about herbs going forward, reach out. Um,
email us at the.conclave.podcast at gmail.com or hit us up on any of our social media sites or over the platforms in which you're listening to us on.
yeah.
And we will see you next time, guys. Thank you so much, and you have yourselves a wonderful day. Until next time.